Welcome to this explainer on Agentic AI enablement by Enrique Chan. Today, we're diving into a really big challenge in AI development. How do we keep our AI agents from, getting confused? We're going to explore a super powerful design pattern that can turn a single, overwhelmed AI into a smart, coordinated team of specialists. So picture this. You've given your AI agent this massive toolbox. It can do anything. Search the web, book flights, analyze data, you name it. But what happens when you actually give it a command? If it can't figure out which tool to grab, all that power is completely wasted. It's just paralyzed by choice. And if it gets it wrong, you get gibberish, a failed task, and a whole lot of wasted resources. And this gets us right to the heart of what's called the agent's choice problem. See, when you try to build one single agent to do everything, a monolithic agent, it ends up being a master of none. If you ask it a simple question and then follow up with a complex booking request, it just struggles to switch gears. And that leads to inefficiency and, honestly, some pretty costly mistakes. This analogy here, it just nails it. A monolithic agent is basically a robot that only has a hammer. So it tries to use that hammer for every single problem it encounters. But a complex question might need a screwdriver, right? Or a request for breaking news might need a wrench. Using one big, clunky tool for everything is just wildly inefficient. And a lot of the time, it just breaks what you're trying to fix. So what's the fix? How do we get out of this mess? Well, instead of building one giant, clumsy agent, the answer lies in a much more elegant solution. And that's the routing design pattern. The best way to think about the routing pattern is like a smart switchboard operator for your AI. Its job isn't to answer the question itself. Nope. Its only purpose is to listen, to understand what you're asking, and then instantly connect you to the specialist who's best equipped for that exact task. Okay, so here's the official definition you see on the slide. The routing pattern uses a front door agent, the router, to do one critical thing: analyze and delegate. It figures out in a split second if a request needs a powerful reasoning model, a simple search tool, or a specialized booking agent, and then it just passes the job on. And this quote from the source material just sums it up perfectly. The goal isn't just to process a command. It's about understanding the user's intent, what they really want, and matching it precisely with the part of the system that can deliver the best result. It's all about precision and efficiency. All right, so how does this router actually think? What's going on under the hood? Let's break down its simple but incredibly powerful three-step process. As you can see, it's a super clear three-step process. First, it's got to classify. It looks at the prompt to figure out what category it falls into. Is this a math problem, a travel request? Then it has to select. Based on that category, it picks the right tool for the job, maybe a web search for news or a powerful model for math. And finally, execute. It just hands the prompt off to the specialist it chose. Classify, select, execute. Simple and really, really effective. This table really brings it to life. A simple question like, hey, what's the capital of France? Yeah, the base model can handle that with its own internal knowledge. But if you ask about last night's sports scores, the router knows, whoa, I need a live internet search for this. Or if you say book a flight to New York, it knows to route that entire job to a specialized booker agent. All right, we've talked theory. Now let's see it in action. This next section is going to dive into a code example to show you how routing actually builds a truly functional system. So, in the Google Agent Development Kit, or ADK, this pattern is implemented with what they call a coordinator agent. This coordinator is our router. It doesn't do the heavy lifting itself. Its single focus job is to direct traffic to a whole team of specialists, like a dedicated booker agent or an info agent. You can kind of think of it as the project manager for the whole AI team. And the real beauty here is just how simple it is. The coordinator agent is given a very focused job. It isn't bogged down with all the tiny details of booking a flight. Its instructions are crystal clear. If the request is about booking, send it to the booker. If it's a question, send it to the info agent. All of its power comes from delegating, not doing. So you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? What makes this team of specialists so much better than just one single super powerful model? Well, the answer is that this isn't just some clever technical trick. It is an essential strategy for building AI that is both robust and scalable. This slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. The old monolithic agent is rigid and inefficient. It's a single point of failure. But the routed system,
It's flexible, it's robust, and it's optimized. You can swap specialists in and out. If one agent fails, the whole system doesn't crash. And this is huge. It's way more cost-effective because you're always using the right-sized and right-priced tool for the job.
So let's just recap the awesome power of routing. First, efficiency. You are always using the best tool for the task. Second, scalability. You can add new capabilities just by plugging in new agents. Third, robustness. One failure doesn't bring the whole thing crashing down. And finally, it creates the foundation for true collaboration, where you can have a team of AIs actually working together on really complex goals. And that leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. The routing pattern isn't just theory, it's a practical blueprint. Once you can assemble a team of AI specialists, one for research, one for data analysis, one for reporting, and coordinate them with a single router, what critical business workflows could you fully automate, maybe even as soon as tomorrow?